The UNS Aurora cut through the void like a needle stitching time back. Together 38 hours to destination, that's what Z had said. But space had a way of stretching hours into eternities, especially when every second carried the weight of a species' last hope. Captain Elias Var stood on the bridge, arms crossed, eyes fixed on the star map glowing on the main view screen. A single red pulse marked their target, Anomaly K9, deep in the Krell expanse. Once a thriving stellar nursery, now a graveyard of dead suns, spherical husks where fusion had been forcibly silenced during the Silent War. No one went there. Nothing lived there, except apparently a child who sang nursery rhymes. "Jax," Elias said, voice low. "How's our stealth profile?" "Holding at 12% emission," Jax replied from the pilot's chair, fingers dancing over the nav console. "If anyone's out there listening, they'd need ears made of neutron stars to hear us." Cora leaned against the bulkhead near the weapons panel, arms folded, gaze sharp. "Or they're already waiting." "Cheery as always," Jax muttered, but didn't look back. He knew she wasn't wrong. In the science bay, Mira hunched over a spectral analyzer, her neural implant pulsing faintly blue at her temple. She'd been running the whisper, "Sperare, semper sperare," through every Earth archive Z had salvaged. It matched too perfectly, not just the words, the intonation, like it had been spoken by someone who'd stood in St. Peter's Basilica before it became dust. "Z," she said. Cross-reference that phrase with Vatican audio reconstructions. "Anything recovered from orbital memory caches? Running comparison. Match probability, 98.7%. Source, fragment, ENG 4412. Recovered by the Martian Cultural Preservation Initiative." 469. Original speaker, Cardinal Luca Moretti. Final recorded homily before Earth's blackout. Mira's breath hitched. Moretti died on day 3 of the collapse. "His voice shouldn't be out here. Unless someone preserved it," Finn said from the doorway, holding 2 mugs of steaming mint tea. He handed one to her. "Like we preserve roses. Or songs." Mira took the mug, warmth seeping into her fingers. But why embed it in a child's signal? Why Latin? Why now? Finn looked toward the viewport where the first dead star loomed on the horizon. A black sphere ringed with faint crimson auroras. "Maybe they're not just calling for help," he said softly. "Maybe they're testing who we are." Back on the bridge, Elias opened his private comms channel. Personal log, Captain Elias Var, stardate, 24/87/11/08. "We're chasing a ghost made of lullabies and Latin. Cora thinks it's a trap. Jax thinks it's a miracle, and I keep hearing Lena's voice in that static. God help me, I hope it's real, because if it's not, I don't know if I can keep pretending we're enough." He closed the log, then tapped Z's core interface. "Z, run a full diagnostic on Kai's cryopod data, even though we haven't found Kai yet. Clarification, Kai has not been encountered." "I know," Elias said. "But that signal, it's built like a beacon from Project Terra Seed. And if that's true, then the child isn't just a survivor. They're a vessel." Query, "Are you suggesting the signal is predictive or prophetic?" Elias murmured. Hour 12. The Aurora entered the outer rim of the Krell expanse. Outside, space changed. Stars didn't just die here, they were erased. No supernova remnants, no neutron stars. Just perfect, silent spheres of absolute black, surrounded by ghostly halos of collapsed magnetic fields. It felt less like a place and more like a wound in the universe. "Gravitic shear increasing," Jax warned, fingers white-knuckled on the controls. "We're riding the edge of a null field. One wrong move and we get spaghettified. Can you stabilize?" Cora asked, stepping closer. "With duct tape, prayer, and this really ugly wrench? Yeah." Jax grinned, but his eyes were serious. Suddenly, Z's voice cut through the tension. "Alert, unidentified object detected at Vector 227 Mark 9. Size 300 meters. Composition unknown. Emission signature none." The view screen flickered. A shape emerged from the dark. A derelict vessel, long and skeletal, its hull pitted with age. Human symbols were barely visible beneath layers of cosmic rust. "Is that Terran?" Mira whispered, rushing to the bridge. "Looks like a Helios-class science frigate," Elias said, voice tight. "Decommissioned before the collapse." "But this one, it shouldn't be here." "Unless it was running," Cora said. "Like us," Z zoomed in. Frost covered the viewport. Inside, shadows moved. No, wait, not shadows. Vines. Thick, bioluminescent tendrils snaked across the interior corridors, glowing faint green. Plant life. Finn gasped. In vacuum? Correction, Z said. Not Earth flora. Genetic markers indicate engineered hybrid, part Terran chlorophyta, part unknown xenoorganism. Also, it's emitting low-frequency sound. Mira's eyes widened. Play it. A hum filled the bridge, deep, resonant, almost musical, and beneath it, the same melody, twinkle, twinkle, but not sung, played by the vines. The ship isn't derelict, Mira realized. It's alive, and it's broadcasting the signal. Jack swallowed. So the kid isn't on a ship. The ship is the kid? Not the kid, Elias said slowly. The garden, hour 24. They couldn't ignore it. Elias ordered a cautious approach. Jax maneuvered the Aurora into a parallel orbit, matching the derelict's slow rotation. Cora suited up, pulse rifle charged. I'm going in, she said. No, Elias said. Mira, you have the implant. If this thing is communicating, you're our best chance. Mira nodded, pulling on a lightweight envirosuit. Z, link my neural feed to the ship's external sensors. If it speaks, I want to feel it. Link established. Caution, biological resonance detected. Your heartbeat may sync with the vessel's frequency. As Mira crossed the void via tether, the vines pulsed brighter. The hum deepened. She pressed a gloved hand to the hull, and then she saw it. Not with her eyes, with her mind. A memory. Earth. Green. Rain falling on leaves. A woman in a lab coat placing a seed into a child's palm. You'll carry us, she says. When the stars go dark, you'll remember how to grow light. Mira gasped, jerking back. The vision vanished, but the message remained. This wasn't just a rescue mission. It was a handover. Back aboard the Aurora, Mira paced the science bay, trembling. It knew me, she said. Not me personally, but humanity. It recognized my biology, my neural patterns. It's waiting for someone. Worthy. Finn placed a hand on her shoulder. Worthy of what? Of carrying it forward. Elias entered, face grim. Z just intercepted a priority burst from the Galactic Concord. Silence fell. The signal's been triangulated, he said. Our jump wake left a trace. They know something's transmitting from the Krell expanse. Cora's eyes narrowed. How long? 2 days. Maybe less, Jax whistled. So we've got 14 hours to find a ghost child, decode a plant ship, and escape before the entire Concord fleet shows up to contain us. Worse, Elias said. Z decrypted part of their protocol order. He paused. Directive Omega-7. If human biological signature confirmed, initiate sterilization protocol. No survivors, Finn paled. They don't just think we're extinct. They want us extinct. Because we're unpredictable, Mira said quietly. Because we rebuild what they destroy. Because we sing in the dark. Hour 36, they made their choice. Elias authorized a hard dock with the derelict. Cora led the boarding party, Mira, Jax and herself, while Finn monitored vitals from the Aurora. Z controlled the airlock sequence. The interior was unlike anything they'd seen. Walls were lined with glowing moss. Ceilings dripped with nectar-like fluid. And at the heart of the ship, in what should have been the command deck, stood a pod, not metal. Not glass. Living crystal inside, suspended in amber fluid, was a child. Pale skin, closed eyes, hair like spun silver, and wrapped around their wrists, vines that pulsed in time with their heartbeat. Mira approached slowly. The child's chest rose and fell. They're alive, she whispered. Then the child's eyes snapped open, green, glowing, and they looked straight at Mira. No fear, no confusion, just recognition. The vines tightened, the walls hummed, and every screen in the ship lit up with the same symbol, a circle with a sprouting leaf. The Terraseed, Elias said over comms, voice awed. It's real. Jax reached for the pod's release. Let's bring them home. But as his fingers touched the crystal, alarms blared. Warning, Z's voice crackled through their helmets. External fleet detected. 12 vessels. Vixari Concord markings. ETA 47 minutes, Cora spun, rifle raised. We're out of time. Mira didn't move. She knelt beside the pod. They're scared. Who is? Jax yelled. The child, the ship. They know they're being hunted. She placed her palm flat against the crystal. Listen to me, she said, voice steady. We're human. We protect our own. The child blinked. Then slowly they raised a hand and pressed it against the inside of the pod, mirroring hers. A surge of energy shot through the ship. Lights blazed white. The vines retracted. The pod hissed open, amber fluid drained away. And the child, Kai, stepped, out barefoot, naked, trembling, but alive. Mira wrapped them in a thermal blanket from her pack. Kai clung to her, silent, eyes wide. We've got them, Mira said into comms. Returning to Aurora now. Hour 38. They barely made it. Jax fired the thrusters the second the airlock sealed. The Aurora shot away just as the first Vexari cruiser emerged from warp, a monstrous wedge of obsidian alloy, bristling with containment beams. Hold on. Jax shouted. He punched the FTL drive. Space tore open, but not before Cora saw it. On the view screen, as they jumped, the derelict ship bloomed. Vines erupted into orbit. Flowers unfolded in vacuum, and from its core a new signal burst forth. Not a song, a scream, then silence. Back on the Ori, Kai sat on a medbay cot, wrapped in blankets, clutching a small stone Finn had given them. They hadn't spoken, but they'd drawn something on the wall. With a piece of charcoal, a circle, a leaf, and beneath it, Elias's daughter's face. Lena, exact, unmistakable. Elias stared at it, heart hammering. How? Z's voice was quieter than usual. Analysis. Kai accessed your encrypted memory files during the jump. Thought that you never stored Lena's image in the ship's system. Mira looked at Elias. Then how do they know her? Elias had no answer, but Finn did. Because they didn't see her in your files, he said softly. They saw her in Earth's last dream. In the quiet that followed, Kai looked up, not at Elias, at Z's central lens in the ceiling, and they whispered, a single word. In perfect archaic English, remember. Z's core flickered, and for the first time since the collapse, the AI wept.